You know, one of the words in Hebrew, there's a few, but one of the words for fruit in Hebrew is the word malea. Malea. And you know this word, interesting, because you know what it means? It actually means full and fullness. Whole. You see, here's the thing. What it's saying is this. We just always keep going back to, I do this, and that's who I am. I did that good thing, now I can feel good that I'm good. But what it's saying is fruit comes out of, you don't do something you don't do something to have fruit. The fruitfulness comes out of being full in God. You're not producing a fruit because you need to do something. You are producing the fruit because it's coming out of you because you're full in God. When you have joy, you're going to enjoy God. It's going to come out of you as fruit. You don't become good because you did good. You do good because you are good by God. We are first made good by grace when we have no other reason to be good. It's God pouring into us. And by that's when it comes out, when we're in the fullness. Isaiah 37 says, take root downward and bear fruit upward. It's written, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. He will be like what? A tree planted by the water, whose leaves will not wither, and who will bring forth fruit in every season. Remember, you can only live a fruitful life if you live a rootful life. Learn to be planted. Those who are most planted are the ones who bear the most fruit. You can run around and produce what looks like fruit for a little while, but you'll get exhausted in the end. Or it'll become hollow in the end, it'll collapse in the end. But if you are rooted, the more rooted you are with God, like Paul. Look at Paul. Look at the great people of God. They're all rooted with God. They all have these great times with God, and then they do great things in God. You know, Paul, look at all he did. He was a man of action and strategy, and yet he was a man in the presence of God. He was a man who dwelt in the heavenlies. And look at Elijah, powerful man of God, and yet he was in the presence of God. It says he was a man of prayer. Look at Moses. Look how practical he was. Look at all he did. But he was in God's presence. And look, so there, you think that, some people sometimes tell you, don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. It's the opposite. The more truly heavenly minded you are, the more you're in God's presence, the more earthly good you'll be. If it's real spirituality, not hyper crazy spirituality, but real. And look what it says. So there's a Hebrew word that means to bring forth fruit. And the word is nuv. Try it, easy. But listen, it also, the same word that means to bring forth fruit also means cheerful, joy. Remember, joy is a fruit of God. A fruitful life is going to be a joyful life. You can receive the Spirit or a gift of the Spirit in one instant, but no fruit grows overnight. Fruit is something that's going to be with your life. It happens every day and continuously. You got to be patient with the fruits that God is doing. If you're not patient, remember, patient is a fruit, so that itself is a thing. Learn to, before we even see something, the fruits take time, but we need to nurture it. Remember, a tree is not concerned with making a good impression. No tree is going to bear fruit to say, hey, look at me, I'm a tree. They don't think that way. They don't even think. No tree bears fruit to impress people. It bears fruit because that's what it is. And you are to bear the fruit that God's called you to bear simply because that's who you are. Not because people are listening, not because people are praising you for your ministry. You are to do it because God made you to do it. I mean, look at Jeremiah. Look how many people he won to the Lord. Maybe 0. Yet he was doing what God called him to do. Probably the most unsuccessful ministry on the outward, but totally successful because he was obedient to God. In the same way, you have a calling in God, and everything in your calling is the fruit you're going to bear to God. but it's not going to be focused on how I can do it. I mean, that's not the focus of it. It's this is who God made me to be, and I'm going to bear the fruit I was called to bear. Don't waste your life focusing on what people are thinking about your fruit, or trying to appear to be something that you're not either, or something you're not yet. The fruit of the Spirit is what? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control.
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Hope of the World is dedicated to the goal of spreading God's Word and salvation to every land and people. We do this by spreading the Word throughout the world and sponsoring compassion projects to the most poor and needy around the earth. To get in touch or have a part in God's work, just write to Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Or go to hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821.